In the American justice system, there are verdicts that simply close a case, and there are those that mark the end of an entire chapter in national history. Yesterday, in a Florida federal court, Ryan Wesley Routh heard the word forever. Life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 7 years. Judge Aileen Cannon didn't just deliver a harsh sentence. She drew a line under the most high-profile case of political violence in recent years. Today, we break down why the justice system chose the path of maximum severity and what it means for security in 2026. September 2024, West Palm Beach. A man armed with a modified SKS rifle lies in wait at the edge of a golf course for nearly 12 hours. The Secret Service opened fire before a single shot was fired. The world stood still, waiting for answers. The investigation, which lasted a year and a half, revealed a chilling picture of preparation. Ryan Routh was not a lone madman in the traditional sense. His path, from a construction worker in North Carolina to attempting to recruit volunteers for Ukraine and finally to the bushes in Florida, is a chronicle of ideological obsession. As Courthouse News reports from the courtroom, the atmosphere at the final hearing was ice cold. Judge Aileen Cannon, often criticized for excess caution in other trials, showed absolute resolve this time. During the trial, the defense tried to appeal to Routh's mental state. But the prosecution played a decisive trump card, a handwritten death notebook. In it, Routh not only described targets, but also offered a financial reward to anyone who would finish the job if he failed. Judge Cannon interrupted Routh as he tried to read a 20-page manifesto. The legal logic was simple. Attempted assassination combined with illegal weapons possession led to the only possible end, total isolation. What does this verdict mean for American justice? First, it signals the end of the era of leniency toward political extremism. Routh's sentence is a demonstration that the system can protect its institutions, regardless of the political affiliation of the victim or the attacker. But the main question remains, did this trial become a lesson for the agencies? The verdict closed the cell door on one man, but it did not fix the vulnerabilities that allowed Routh to get within firing distance. In 2026, the safety of politicians becomes not just a matter of protection, but a matter of the toughness of judicial precedents. And that precedent was set today. The legal battle over Donald Trump's hush money conviction has taken a sharp and critical turn in a Manhattan courtroom. Judge Juan Merchan has issued a scathing 11-page response to the former president's latest attempt to scrap his conviction entirely. The judge didn't just deny the motion, he excoriated the defense's strategy, calling it a belated effort that fundamentally ignored months of established judicial process. For Merchan, this wasn't just about law, it was about the integrity of the court's timeline. At the heart of this clash is Trump's conviction on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records to conceal payments to an adult film star. Following his recent electoral victory, Trump's legal team launched a blitz, arguing that his status as president-elect granted him a level of immunity that should dissolve the New York case as if it never happened. They claimed the upcoming inauguration created an existential conflict with a state-level criminal conviction. But Judge Merchan was remarkably unimpressed by the political calendar. He criticized the defense for waiting until the 11th hour to bring forward arguments that could have and should have been raised nearly a year ago. In his written order, Merchan's frustration was palpable. He described the motion not as a legitimate legal challenge, but as a transparent attempt to relitigate issues that were already settled long before the first ballot was cast. The judge noted that the defense had countless opportunities to raise these immunity claims during the trial phase, but chose instead to wait for a more politically advantageous moment. This calculated tardiness, as some legal analysts call it, backfired. Merchan made it clear that while the presidency carries weight, it does not grant a retroactive get-out-of-jail-free card for state-level felonies committed as a private citizen. This decision leaves the 34 felony conviction standing, effectively anchoring Trump's legacy to a criminal record even as he prepares to take the oath of office. While the actual sentencing remains in a state of indefinite limbo, postponed to avoid interfering with the transition of power, the legal reality is now fixed. Judge Merchan has sent a clear message to the nation. The clock of justice in New York does not stop, even for the most powerful office in the world. The conviction remains, a permanent mark on the record waiting for the political dust to settle. As we enter February 2026, the tech industry is reeling from a federal verdict that may have just ended the era of unrestricted AI. In a landmark decision, a Georgia federal court has ruled that an AI developer can be held legally liable for defamation when its large language model generates false and damaging statements about a private citizen. This is the case of Walters versus OpenAI, and the implications are seismic. The case began when a prominent legal professional discovered that a popular AI model had hallucinated an entire legal scandal involving him. The model generated a detailed yet completely fabricated summary of a lawsuit claiming he had embezzled millions from a nonprofit. The defense argued that an AI is a statistical tool, not a publisher, and therefore protected by Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. But the court disagreed, ruling that the developer is the author of the AI's hallucinations. This verdict shatters the legal shield that tech giants have relied on for decades. The judge's order states that when a model creates content from scratch, rather than simply hosting user-generated data, the company is responsible for its accuracy. For the first time, a court has legally recognized that an algorithm can lie with intent-like negligence. This creates a multi-billion-dollar liability for every AI lab in the world. What does this mean for the average user? It means the death of the experimental disclaimer. Companies will now be forced to implement aggressive, hard-coded truth filters or face a wave of litigation. In 2026, the digital frontier is no longer lawless. The machine has been told it must tell the truth or its creators will pay the price. That was the verdict, Court News. Thank you for watching. Stay with us as we continue to regularly cover the most critical cases and high-profile decisions from courtrooms across the nation. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to never miss an update on the cases that matter. Until next time.